quorum. How many do we need for a quorum?
How
Six.
many members are there?
Have 11, so we need 6.
I need 6.
Need six.
Yeah.
We don't have.
Would you like us to all sign in, Mr. Rosenthal?
Yeah, I'll sign it. All right, I'm gonna
6, we got
start,
7,
and
we
then,
got 6.
we hope
got
to
6.
have. Okay, I'm gonna start with our
3, 4,
guest
6.
speaker. For those, for
You just didn't remember, though.
know, it's Louis Solomon.
From somebody.
So, Alex.
That's
Okay,
Alex.
So it looks like the high school and our middle school, we can call them the Solomon School System. Louis
But that's
has been with the.
It's my brother-in-law.
Oh, it's a brother-in-law?
Yes.
Oh, that's right, that's right, that's right.
Louis has been with the school system before. He was a football coach for 11 years.
Yes.
And then he went to Lawrence Middle School for a while. But he is back as the vice principal of the high school. So we have Mrs. Solomon as the vice president of,
Ninth grade? I'm ninth grade this year.
he's the 11th grade. So I'm gonna open the floor. I asked him to come and introduce himself to us and tell us what his commission is, because we already know what her mission is. She's been here several times, so it's all yours, Louis.
Okay, well, thank you. Thanks for having me here today. I'm the vice principal, Lou Solomon, vice principal of the 11th grade. So excited to be back in Franklin. I'm a Franklin High School graduate, along with the other members of my family. This year, you know, my focus this year is first to get acclimated to being back as an administrator in our district. I was a teacher, dean of students and football coach prior. Was there for 13 years doing that job. Left for a year, become an administrator in Lawrence, which was my first year as a vice principal, and was blessed to be able to come back when the position opened up. And other than getting acclimated to being an administrator in Franklin, my focus is also to really work on, or continue to work with the culture and climate within our school building. It's one of the charges that I have, one of my responsibilities. So I'm looking to really expand on the program, our Strength of the Warrior program. That's just working with our staff to build some common language and positive reinforcement, not only to students but to staff too, just to improve our climate within our building. And that's pretty much it.
Any questions?
I have one,
Sure.
Mr. Solomon. No, you was a football coach here for a number of years,
Yes.
right? Now you're gonna be an administrator of the 11th grade
Yes.
in Franklin High School.
Yes.
And the football coach now is,
His name is John Pechkowski. He's been the football coach for a couple of years now.
yeah, he's the same guy, but he's the guy over there now.
Yes.
What I wanna say. Will you have any influence in your administrative duties towards the academic achievements of the football students?
Well, we all work with all the students, and so our students are student athletes that are.
Well, I meant to say that because you used to be a football coach.
Yeah.
You know,
Will I
Okay.
have a special interest in that?
yes, that's what I really meant to say.
Absolutely. Not only because I was a coach, but I'm part of the Franklin
Well-
program as well as a player.
Right, right,
And
right.
you know, Coach Pachowski, he's a really good guy. He works hard, and we work well together. He's actually a dean of students now as well.
Good.
So, will I have a special interest in the football players and how they proceed academically? Absolutely. I think
Thank
it's
you.
extremely important.
It's nice to know that because you know a number of people here, you know most of the teachers and most of the other students in the town. So it would have been an asset for you being here and in fact, coming back to Franklin. And knowing your football history, I just like to know that, you say you're being acclimated, so acclimated means those type of things. nice to know that.
Yeah, it's important, you know, for coach to have my support, 'cause I was a coach for the
Right,
district.
right.
And, you know, sometimes that could be uncomfortable.
Yes,
So
yes,
it's my job to make sure that he knows that I'm there to support him
yes, sir.
and, provide all the help that whatever he needs help with, you know, and be supportive of him like
That's-
past coaches were for
As
me.
long as they're part of your acclamation, that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
Thank
It's different being there and not being the coach, so.
you.
But you
Yes.
still known as coach.
Yes,
Because-
yeah,
because-
you still
so
get
it's
called
still
coach.
like
Yeah.
That's
I don't think you
like-
ever lose that, I don't think you ever lose
No,
that
you're not
time.
gonna ever
No.
lose that.
One of the cool things, Coach Peskowski is actually my dean of students for the 9th grade. So one of the things that I'll mention to you is he shared with me, he's actually invited, Lou, to speak to the football team, to
Tomorrow.
kind of share, tomorrow, awesome.
No
To
kidding,
share
see?
his experiences as a
Right.
player, as a
Good.
teacher,
Good
as a
teacher.
coach, and just how to be a well-rounded student athlete. That
Right.
student is first for a reason,
Mhm.
you know, and that we hold
Very
a
good.
certain responsibility being student
Good.
athletes.
Right.
So for me, it's pretty cool to see that, because it can be awkward, thank goodness it's
Of
not,
course.
and he's been invited by coach to address the student
That's
athletes.
good, that's the Franklin warrior spirit.
Yeah, and I'm very thankful for that too, because,
It should be,
you know,
yeah.
sometimes.
It could be difficult, it
yes.
could be,
Sometimes they wanna keep you
You know,
doing
yeah.
as far away as possible, cause you think
Exactly.
they don't want you to meddle in their program.
exactly,
Okay, I have a question. Alex and I are also on the Martin Luther King scholarship thing, and, one of our committee members is, good old Orville Wilson. And of course, he's been very instrumental in those, special students, what do you call them? Special school students.
No, yes,
What do you call them, Alex?
so we built the center behind,
Turning back
Mr.
to
Wilson's
success.
position?
What Orville Wilson handles,
Yeah, he is the student advocate.
Right.
of what?
but,
Student advocate, any
For the
issues.
district, for the entire district, yeah.
but he handles, certain kids that,
You know, I
Special
could, there's a
needs
name,
kids.
we're trying to think of a name,
John.
do we always say, let's
Right,
go?
right, the road to success program.
the RTS,
Yeah.
the RTS, right?
Mhm.
Do you face with those students at all? Or was that like a separate program?
It's a separate school.
It's a separate school?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, my
Because
goodness, that's a damn,
last year,
it's a shame, trying to think of
we gave one scholarship to,
this.
one of the students, and they were very, happy about it too. So,
The students,
so you,
the kids, and
so you don't interface with them at all?
The risk, so that's the word I'm
RTS
looking
program,
for.
yeah, it's RTS.
That's what I'm looking for.
Right.
I
Is
mean,
that a
they're
charter
risk
school?
students.
No,
That's-
it's basically like an alternate school
Okay.
that,
Yes,
that we house in
yes.
Just part of the
districts.
system.
Yeah.
That's correct,
Yes.
just during a different time of the day.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, while I have you, I caught, because I don't know if you're gonna leave afterwards, but as I told you when I courted you, the youth opening,
Yes.
and I'm so glad Anne Marie is here too, because we're gonna be we've been charged to work with the census and to have the complete census count. And I know that we're gonna be calling upon you, someone amongst us, to see that,
Who has
we
some
will get-
students gonna help us,
yeah,
Anytime, you know
Yeah.
that,
yeah,
anytime,
I'm just letting everybody know how
absolutely.
unbelievable, they didn't even know who I was, and I'm attacking them at the, and I said, and they said,
Of course I
absolutely,
remembered you."
whatever you want. So I just wanna thank you
Oh,
so much for
absolutely.
that kind of an attitude. It talks to how you feel in general, because this is in addition to everything else you do, so it's
And as
appreciated.
you know, some people don't wanna give us a social security number or something like that, you know, but,
Oh,
we have-
man,
we
yeah,
have to
it's
tell them-
meant something.
we have to
Right,
tell them
yeah.
that they can count, you know, because, so we rely on our high school kids to hock the school teachers, and then Marilyn will be working with,
We already had lunch
Let's
with
just
you
use that.
together today.
yes, yes,
So, Ms. Solomon, you started a lot of like new initiatives last year. So Mr. Solomon, how will you, I guess, help build upon that? And I guess like continue to take our school in a new direction.
for me, this year is a lot of my role will be in a supportive role as a first year being here.
Okay.
The Strength of the Warrior program is mine that I'm kind of in charge of. So what I want to do is be able to we're going to roll this out and the Strength of the Warrior program out in October.
Okay.
But I really want to try to get more teachers and students involved and participating in a positive behavior support program.
So how would this program, I guess, be run exactly, like logistically?
Right.
Because
So
I've heard of the Strength of the Warrior program,
Right.
but it's more been like a very like broad term that people have like
Right.
thrown out
So
there.
the purpose of it is really to highlight the positive things that students are doing within our building.
Okay.
Oftentimes, as assistant principals, we deal a lot with discipline. So you know you're dealing with a lot of negative interaction, or negative behavior, so we want to not make that the focal point.
Okay.
You know, we feel like the majority of our students in our building are doing wonderful things, and we need to highlight that.
Okay.
So the Strength of the Warrior program is all about highlighting all of the positive things that the students are doing.
I have to tell you this, because you guys are about to be bombarded with, within the community structure of young kids getting out of school, we are being obsessed with the fact that students need to have a certain amount of vocational training prior to them graduating from high school. And it's going to be a major push with a number of people in the community in terms of teachers and the school board and so forth, is to recognize the fact that Franklin High School and the students that come out of minority neighborhoods in Franklin are in dire need of some type of vocational initiative prior to them graduating out of high school, because it's becoming a dire burden for a number of kids now that graduated out of high school and the older ones, that they have no sense of vocational training at all. And it's becoming a community burden. So at least I want to make sure that you guys understand that it's our primary objective within the community itself. Is when it comes to high school, we need that vocational initiative. I don't know where it comes from this year, next year, or any other year, but we will be pushing for the teachers and the school board to recognize that aspect of the students that's graduating from Franklin High School, of the need. Okay, that's what it is.
Right, so you're talking about the returning times that the baby boomers dealt with, you know, just regarding learning a skill or a trade, right?
Yes,
So we still
yes.
do have a relationship with Somerset County VOTEC.
Yes,
You know,
I
and
remember
one of the
you
things
put
that we're finding, like we used to have classes like cooking and sewing at Franklin High School. We're finding that teachers aren't coming out of college with, they're not going into those areas anymore, unfortunately. So we definitely welcome the conversation, you know, as we move forward, and hoping to really have a conversation with some of the local colleges regarding what they're offering as well, so that we can get the teachers.
Right,
You know, we'd
right,
love
I
that.
understand
Honestly,
what you're
it's some of it's almost like a dying art form. You know, when you look at things like sewing and cooking and those sort of
Yeah,
things.
that's
Unfortunately, kids
And
are not
those
taking
the
it in
type of
college, is what I'm
vocations-
saying.
I wasn't really, you know, I wasn't talking really about, yeah, I heard you say,
Yeah.
so we're
Right.
talking about the young men I be dealing with. We're talking about forklift drivers and
Right.
plumbers and the electricians and
Right.
that type of trades that they can get right into apprenticeship training.
Apprenticeship.
Yeah, right, exactly, you know,
Absolutely.
those type of things, you know. I know the cooking and sewing, that's kind of obsolete these days to me, you know.
Well, we have a youth center, which is hopefully.
Right.
gonna
Yes,
be-
that's-
Absolutely.
And I know Councilman Prasad and I have been talking because we have these senior communities. I live in one, Marilyn lives in one, Noel lives there, and we have all these people that are expertise in, you know, retired and everything else. But the problem is, the Board of Education has been limiting it because if they wanna do anything through the board, then they have to be specially,
Certified.
certified and everything else. So it's hard. The Board of Education hasn't helped with that, you know, so, but, we have the expertise to help in these youth centers, sewing and cooking and all that stuff, but, you know,
That's
We
another
have
thing,
to
we
get-
know,
we have to
we
get.
hope that youth center's coming, baby,
Absolutely.
you know the deal with that, you know what I mean? It's on sacred ground.
We have to get over that,
Alright.
and I
I
heard,
have something.
Okay,
Yes.
I just wanted to hand this to the principals. And it's about, a friend of mine who puts on, that puts on plays, and they would like to see if they could bring it to Franklin High School to talk
Well, the guy for the
about.
Board of Education with this.
Yeah, you got it, Ted.
Well,
Well,
I gave it to
I can definitely pass it along.
Right,
I
yeah.
can definitely pass it
All
along.
And it's about bullying and all of that,
Okay.
drug abuse, and
Okay.
it's a good, nice play.
Okay.
All right.
So I'll definitely give this off to Mr. Wilson. He's our
Okay.
Director of Student Advocacy. Normally things like that come through the board office first, is what Mr. Rosenthal is trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I can do is send it to them with an attached note that I met with you tonight.
That's
Okay.
You know, and you're looking to, you know, you highly recommend this program,
Okay,
okay?
all right, thank you.
Absolutely.
Anything else, because, they have to go. They have since 5 a.m. in this morning.
One last question. So it's back to Franklin High School. So how, Mrs. Solomon, you said we're trying to bring out, student participation at most of our ability that we can. What are some ways that we are going to be doing that? I mean, I know I work with you and we're trying to, have pep rallies and other things, but usually it's just that group of students who participate in everything, or just those specific areas. They're the highlights of it, but we have talent and deep hidden in there. How are we gonna bring that up?
That's gonna be a challenge for all of us. You know,
It's tough.
all the different clubs within the building, different administrators, Mr. Smith himself, just trying to get everybody involved, through word of mouth, through the different programs that we do, just to try to get everybody to really embrace being a Franklin Warrior. And I think the more students, the more staff we get to embrace being a Franklin Warrior, the more people we can get involved. And it's a tough task, and it's something that when I was as a teacher and as a coach, it was something that was difficult as well.
Good question.
But we're always looking for good ideas, so maybe we can sit down and brainstorm about it.
Last question, yes?
Yeah, so I know that you guys, but it's kind of two questions, but, one question, are you guys doing the peer mentorship program again this year?
Yes.
When does that start?
So soon, so Mr. Brundage is actually charged with that program, so we're gonna
Okay.
begin a 6-week training again, 'cause we gotta train you all, even though you were trained, sorry,
Yeah.
you have to go through it again. So we have to train you on how to be a peer mentor before we can actually assign you a mentee.
Yeah,
So
but
that's
it's,
gonna-
we're doing that.
It's
again.
coming, yep, it's coming, it's coming. What's your second question?
So regarding the AP Ambassador Program, I know that you guys started that initiative last year. And I've seen a lot of new AP students in my classroom, in my different AP classes. And I know you guys are doing the AP Family Night, that event, that's tomorrow.
Thank you for that plug.
I wanted to kind of open the floor for you to, talk about that and how, we can help out with.
You're so great, Julian. So tomorrow night will be our AP, we're actually calling it an AP prep rally. So the thought, and it's my baby, so the thought behind that is to get as excited about athletics, to get as excited about AP as we are about athletics, as we are about our plays, and we do a lot of great things, right? So we're literally having balloon arches with AP. We're giving out t-shirts to every child that is taking even just one AP class tomorrow. There'll be free giveaways. The Malcolm Bernard Scholarship Foundation will be there. Our foundation, which, Mr. Solomon is also part of Warrior for Life Scholarship Foundation, will be there tomorrow night as well. So basically putting into place a bunch of resources for kids that are brand new to AP or they're taking an AP class for the first time. So we're not just gonna throw them in the AP, but it's like, okay, how can we support you in being successful in AP? And the Malcolm Bernard Foundation is actually, they're gonna talk a lot about it tomorrow. If you're coming, I'm not sure if you're coming.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you're gonna hear a lot about Saturday programs that they wanna offer. It could be a college tour that they take you on. It could be how to do a college essay. It could be financial aid, how to, say yes to college but no to college debt. It could be something as simple as, SAT prep that you need. So they're actually gonna survey you based on what you tell them and get what you tell them that your needs are and provide those needs, if that makes sense. So they're kind of like another layer. I believe Councilman Francois is coming tomorrow, along with Chanel Robinson, and a lot of other people will be there tomorrow. The band will be playing the cadence, the cheerleaders will be cheering you in, and we're literally having an AP prep rally tomorrow night, because we wanna get excited about our students taking AP classes. So just like the field hockey and football team have shirts that say Franklin Warrior Football Field Hockey, you're gonna have one that says, ask me about AP.
What is AP, baby? I'm sorry.
Advanced placement classes, I'm sorry. Advanced placement classes.
Whatever school it was, they didn't do that in those days. Sorry about it.
They shoot the past so quick, man.
So it's advanced placement classes, so
Oh,
basically college level classes in high school.
Oh, that's what it means, okay.
Okay,
Yeah, they didn't do
you know,
One thing I want to point out,
go ahead.
it. Your age issue.
Round of applause for Julian, who's our junior commissioner,
Yeah,
but also did an internship at the UN.
that's
I
right.
saw that.
Oh,
And I think he's the third one in amongst
Yeah.
our junior commissioners that have
Yeah.
gone on to do it, so,
Yeah, he's the third one.
yeah.
Okay,
We can
you
tell
know, we're here for
someone
you
about it.
guys, and,
Thank you.
anything you need, you know, we're here, so lots of luck to you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
And
Thank you for having us, we appreciate
you I
it.
know.
Well, thanks for showing up.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
So,
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you always got the
Thank
humorous
you.
committee.
Thank you so much.
Gary,
Yes.
I
I
think
know
I'm
I'm
good.
late.
I think I'm good, because we both have one.
I have to
I'm gonna
wait.
put a note on tomorrow.
Okay,
though.
okay.
You have a question?
All right.
well, the vaping, issue, and I had, we had talked briefly
Right.
there at the.
Yeah, at the youth groundbreaking.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
You
groundbreaking
probably
at the
both.
center, yeah.
It's on the agenda.
There. So, should I make an appointment then to speak to you both
So
separately?
remember we talked about it needing to go to Mr. Wilson first? So remember we talked about the student assistance coordinators being assigned to him, so they are SAC, so they deal with all of our substance abuse type issues.
Okay,
I'm definitely willing to sit down and speak with you. I would wanna invite him in to
Okay.
join in that meeting, so I suggest that we do it at a time that's best for him, cause
Okay.
I'm there, I'm not going anywhere,
Okay.
right? But
You guys gonna have a meeting about the vaping problem?
yeah.
I suggest you have me there.
All right, we'll
We're
put,
going
we'll
down
provide
here,
later.
Johnny.
Yeah, so
Well, I
I,
have
so just to wrap this
kids
portion
that
up,
I'm dealing
if you'd
with.
reach out to Mr. Wilson, so his secretary is Mary Ginsburg,
Ginsburg.
and she's over at the board office, so if you would reach out to her, to schedule a time that's best for him, I'll make myself available when he is.
Okay.
Okay, and she will be M. Ginsburg,
It might just be like
G-I-N-S.
a conference call, if you get a conference.
Whatever
brochure.
it is.
Isn't
Yeah.
Alice doing
Gins-
something with that?
Ginsburg with a U, so
With a U.
Ginsburg, right,
Yeah.
at franklinboe.org,
Talk to Alex.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay?
Okay.
thanks a
Right.
lot,
Let
Gary.
me just write that down for you to make sure she has the right, email. That way it's
Okay,
the right person.
let's go on with the meeting.
B-U-R-G instead of
Because we
B-E-R-G.
have another
Thanks.
couple of people here.
You're
that,
welcome.
we've got
Good night.
here.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
Hey,
night.
thank
Okay,
you very much.
everybody.
See you
God
guys
bless
in the
you.
morning.
Get some sleep, guys.
Okay.
Good luck.
Too long.
Okay,
All right,
so,
bye-bye, guys.
Take care.
now that we have a quorum, I just wanted to get the okay for the August 26th minutes. I need a motion.
Make a motion the minutes be accepted as read,
Okay, thank you.
as printed.
Okay, we also have another, two special guests here. Of course, you all know Anne Marie McCarthy, our valued township clerk, and a Katrina Parker, who I haven't met before, but, she's also involved with the census, so I'm gonna open the floor
Introduce
to Anne Marie and to Katrina and to Marilyn, who I know has been on top of this, because I keep sending you stuff that I get from the
There's a lot of
Census Bureau.
information out there.
So Anne Marie, you're on.
Okay. So last week I met with the Somerset County Complete Count Committee, to which I am I'm filling in for the mayor, and being part of that committee. There's a lot of stuff out there. We went over how they're going to do the census this year. This is the first time that they're actually going to do it online. So people will not be getting forms in the mail. They'll be getting a number that they'll have to put in when they do it online. I don't agree with the online thing, because I think it's gonna make it much more difficult for
Absolutely.
different
Oh, yeah.
segments. But 80% will be online. They're only gonna send about 20% out in paper, which they didn't really go into who the 20% are. I'm going to assume they're probably in areas that don't have very good internet service. So that's the first run, that they'll be sending those out in March, and then they're gonna wait about a week and a half, and if they don't hear from those households, they're gonna send out a reminder postcard. And then a week later, they're gonna send out another reminder. And then If they don't hear from them during the month of, in the first month, they're gonna send out, then they'll send out the paper form. And if they don't get the paper form back, they'll get another reminder. It's a lot of steps, and then finally, if none of that works, they'll send somebody out. I think that's gonna make it very difficult for certain segments. I know that there's a lot of people that are very weary about filling out any kind of form, forget about doing it online. So,
That's horrible.
May I ask a question?
yeah, there's actually gonna be a subcommittee of this to which I volunteered for.
You volunteer.
Well, they're going to center on those areas that, they know are that they don't have very high percentage in responses back. And I know that we have that, cause when they showed me the map of Somerset County, anything in green is a low response thing. Well, this is Franklin, so green is bad, blue is even worse. So we have a very large area of low response. So I figured I better be in on the discussions.
What ward is that in Franklin?
I would say one.
It look like all of Franklin.
It's basically half of Franklin, so that's
It's half
4,
Franklin.
5, this
Yeah,
is
four's in
probably,
the corner.
this
Yeah,
is
it's all that,
2
I
and
know.
3, and this is 1. So it's everybody.
It's just pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And who's got all those good, who has all the good ones? What township?
Well,
This don't need
all
the
the
money in
yellows.
region.
Bridgewater seems to be okay.
now, I don't understand that.
Branchburg, Warren
It's gonna be
seems to
tough.
be
No,
alright.
I don't
But
understand.
we're very difficult. We're huge.
Now, our
So.
whole town, our whole Franklin
Well, I always
Township,
think that I've always
known
thought
to be
there's
on
more
the lowest.
people than what we counted 10 years ago.
And we did better than we did 10 years before that.
Yeah, so I think with this commission, we should focus on trying to get to those areas that are afraid to do the census and don't respond.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
I think, just this suggestion, we had somebody came and spoke during our interfaith council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And so they emphasized the importance of house of worship to be involved.
Yes.
Because majority of the people that you see that they go to some sort of a house of worship.
Mhm.
And maybe the township will put some sort of a program that they will be a couple of people just to go to those house of worship and volunteer to help the people, like a workshop type thing. So
Mhm.
people that they're not skilled in computer, or some of them may not even be able to read, they can go to those house of worship and there will be people to help them. So that may be one way. The other option that you may consider is to offer some sort of help in the library.
Yeah.
So,
Marilyn and I talked about reaching out to the
You're down
library
here, so
to-
now I can cross you off.
uh,
And we have the libraries also.
I was
That
thinking
an
of
interesting
setting
thing.
up maybe a kiosk in here in the municipal building so that there's a computer here that people can come to and use. And I know the library's got, because recreation's got that whole room, so maybe we can, go to the
we
community
have
center.
about 70 house of worship in town.
Yeah, that's a
And if we connect with them and
Mhm.
work with them,
You
provide
got that many?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah,
Really?
we have
Yeah.
70, so,
Oh, yeah.
and provide some resources to them.
Okay.
Because if you just go ask them to go ahead and do it, they may not do it. But if you offer some resources, so they say,
Yeah.
yes, we have something that we know how to go about and do it, I think that will be a great way. And perhaps our next meeting is going to be in Food Bank with Interfaith Council meeting.
Okay.
And if you wish, we can invite you and you can maybe talk
Okay.
about this and how we can help. And especially being at Food Bank, it's a good place to talk about it.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, we
Loan
have very
registration
few from HRC participate in our interface council. I think it's a good way to meet people and see what's going on in town.
Excuse me, just point of clarification, are you saying
Katrina?
interfaith or
Interfaith.
Interfaith, okay,
Yeah.
that's what I wrote down. So
Yes, yeah.
How are you involved, Katrina?
I am a member of Central Jersey Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta, and I'm on the Social Action Committee. I am also a co-lead for Census 2020. We support our Union County, Somerset County, and Middlesex County. And what we're looking to do is just reach out to the various counties that we support to see how we can partner with you in focusing on Census 2020. A lot of the things that she has stated, we've gone through the training, and it's exactly right. They're moving away from paper, and they're more focused on doing it through the internet.
Sure.
And, we're looking to partner with perhaps going to libraries and having a census 20. The census, although the dates that she referenced are early, the actual start date is April the 1st of 2020, but they're starting the different phases out early just to make sure that it gets out to everyone. So
Didn't I meet you guys at the Week of the People?
we were at Week of the People, yes,
Yeah, me
we
and
were
Kimberly.
passing out flyers
Yeah, me and
and
Kimberly was over
cards.
there talking to you guys. Yeah, you that same group, right, that was there?
We had
Yeah.
palm cards and
Yeah.
everything.
Give me that.
And we're not, we're familiar with Somerset County because we have met with the mayor. We've had 2 sessions with Meet the Mayor. We met in 2018 and we met this year. So Chanel was part of our first discussion. Julian, I'm not sure if you were there. You look familiar.
I do.
Um,
When was it?
It was,
He's everywhere.
I campaigned with her when she ran
Right.
for freeholder.
it was a while ago. We met in 2018 as well as this year.
Yeah.
And in 2018, the chapter focused on gun violence. So we were just talking about the gun violence here in Somerset County, voter registration, a lot of different things for Franklin Township. So we came back this year and we were on a larger scale. We had representations from the schools, the police department, councilwomen, Kimberly, I believe, was on there as well as Chanel. So we were able to just ask questions and, bring important information to our chapter as well as focus on how we can partner.
So the demographic of our township over the last 10 years has changed drastically.
Oh, yes.
Will changes
So-
that.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
which requires for us to have a representation from different groups, even in a discussion, regarding the census or any other matter. And I don't think we represent the township. We are close, but we are not there yet. For example, we have a huge West African community, and we don't have anybody from West Africa that I can think of here. So we need to really to be sensitive to bring those people
Absolutely.
so they can help us.
Absolutely.
We have a need now with our Sri Lankan community, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know how well they.
Can I ask a
Next
question?
question.
Given the information they gave you with that map, though, were they specific about what demographic is not participating? Because I think any good action plan would require that we know
No, but I
specifically.
can get that.
Where she got that map from, there's all kinds of demographics, because
Yeah.
we were looking at that as well. But a lot of the Latin community is really more concerned with ISIS rates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
right, I know.
That is why
And that's at
it,
church, and it doesn't, no matter where in the
Yeah.
public.
exactly, so. But given how widespread those colors
Yeah.
are, there's an issue throughout.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So if we had some specifics, I think it would be helpful then in creating an action plan
Yeah.
for example, I'm speaking hypothetically without knowing this, but say there are 12 community centers in the township. So then we would know where strategically to place someone who could have like a laptop with them, or where there is a computer already to fill it out, so that would be like, someone would be like a liaison in helping them
There
to
is full
understand
demographics. When you go to the Census 2020 website, you can click on the map will go like down 7 or 8 different levels of you to see all the things that you're asking.
Mhm.
But I think for us to create that action
Yeah.
plan, that's, you know,
Mhm.
we do need to.
Okay. So Marilyn and Marie, what's our next step as the complete count committee?
Yeah, we need to come up with an action plan, I think that's what, and I'll look into more, I have to go back online. 10 years ago, I know that the commission, we got posters and flyers, and you guys went out and met with and went into businesses and asked them to put signs up, and you spoke with people to get the word out.
To get a response.
Well, I think what she and I talked about in
Yeah.
terms of that was, yes, to put up in, as we talked about in the past, barbershops, nail salons, hairdressers, particularly in the Hispanic area if possible, and then train, most importantly, it's not, because a sign, people read it or they don't, and it should be in English and Spanish, I think also that might not hurt
Right.
at all, and part of the thinking was is to train the people that are doing this, so that as they're cutting your hair, they're saying, hey, you know that census, it's really important, and then let them know how the census benefits them personally. And it will, because it has to do with schools, it has to do with roads,
yeah,
it has to do
everything.
with representation. But I don't think most people have any idea of what the census really means. If that, I mean, they're too busy making a life.
don't.
So I think
You're right.
part of what
They
we,
talk about everything in the barbershop.
oh, I'm sure.
Politics.
Well, my dear, you
marriage.
are in charge of barbershops.
Yeah.
And we're gonna let him go along once in a while.
And the census will, they're gonna be at Franklin Day, so,
That's this week, brother.
Right.
yeah,
That's
that's
the
the
Saturday,
Saturday,
yeah.
yeah.
So-
They'll be in the township tent with me, so, I'm not sure how many people they're sending or whatever, but,
Okay.
The
but there'll
census
be
people,
information, but yeah, there will be representatives from the Census Bureau there, so
Okay.
I will,
This doesn't seem even to be cost sensitive. I mean, from the internet, a postcard,
yeah, I don't understand all the different mailings, I thought that was a bit redundant myself, but,
Yeah, that makes sense.
you
Why
know,
change to online, like format?
you know, I think that is the worst thing, being that we were in the green the last
yeah, I
time.
don't
And now this time,
I was
you're gonna talk
surprised
about
when they said
online,
that they were going
that's gonna make it
some
worse.
way, but
Phase of it.
You know, I
Well,
don't
this
think
is
that-
what
It certainly
AARP
costs,
says,
printing cost.
the AARP,
online, you know,
But it
I'd
can be
ha-
done, we can encourage
Yeah.
people if we, again, if we're familiar with exactly the demographic that has to be
Mhm.
targeted, and it sits in so widespread, you know, is it only Spanish speaking, or is it other groups also that need to be targeted, then we can come up with an action plan
And
you know, and 20% is, I think I would wanna know that 20% that's being printed.
that gets
yeah, but
paper,
that's just it. That was a different climate than what's going on now.
Correct, no,
Because
no.
we were number 5th in the nation at one time.
Right.
Now we're number 88.
Right.
You understand? So, you know, we got
Best
the
town to
sprawl
live
coming
in?
in. What?
best town to live in, we were fifth.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
Yes.
know, but we
Yeah.
100 and some now,
Yeah,
anyway.
so we've dropped down to 88. And
We're
the
188.
climate that's going on now, everybody's going back in the dark. We
I
have
think,
the
well,
hidden citizens.
What I'm saying is yes, and there are plenty of people living in the shadows, without a doubt, but I think that if we do our darndest, then we can encourage people to fill it out, and that's where the houses of worship as well as the committee and strategic outreach.
I
It
think that's
means
a great
lot of
idea, though.
footwork,
The-
it means
the-
a
the
lot of
churches-
footwork, it means,
The churches
because
is
to
a
me,
great.
it's beyond the posting of a flyer, it means, you know,
Oh, yeah,
well, that's the point, posting a flyer, you have to train the people inside to do something with them, and we have to
but we also
be
have to
part of-
provide the resource for people to have if that's the only
Absolutely.
option for them, and in this case, that means access to technology.
Yes.
Will the
Yeah.
library have a dedicated computer, you know, during the week where people can fill
Yeah.
things out, that sort of thing?
What about
And
the,
Anna's-
the center? The
And we're
senior
talking
center?
about putting
Yeah.
one
Senior initiative with,
into the municipal building, and I think the senior center would be a good place to have a dedicated computer there too, if there are
In the
enough
library, 'cause
laptops,
I
what's the
mean, I see
story?
people lining up for that
Library's
library when at 10 o'clock in the morning, people are lining up to go in.
They would line up.
Yeah, so
They
I
use the-
think
they
that
use
we
the
definitely need to
computer?
bring the library in with
Do you use
us.
the computer?
Computer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so use the computer.
Yes,
Most
already.
people have, they have their phone with the internet.
And
So
you
I
can
think
do it on
we
your
need
phone,
to-
yeah.
We need, when people gather, together, I think we need to walk through how to do on their phone.
Mhm.
So this way, everybody
that's-
opens it,
That's
You
great.
can do a lot with
yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
how many
Yeah,
computers
now
we
phone, I
got?
can see more access to a phone
Right.
than online computer and so forth. Anybody, you know,
Yeah.
I'm thinking from the
So-
consensus of my minority neighborhoods, you talk about online, but you come with the phone,
Right,
that's
so-
a great
Yes.
idea.
You
That's
can send
online.
great
phone
idea.
Yes,
blasts, you can do
online.
email,
Yeah.
send out to as many
Okay.
people.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but my question was, it was previously mentioned that, people, citizens of this township are gonna receive numbers.
Mhm.
How are they gonna receive that numbers?
In the mail, it'll get, yeah, one per household.
Another question that I had was, if you're talking about strategy and how to implement, give out information to, say, barber shops and other areas in the township, how are we gonna approach that? See, we have to I understand that we are trying to spread it out so much. However, will it be cost effective to the township itself? We're hiring so many people to express this thought and to make sure people are actually following what's going on with the census. How are we gonna find that out?
Well, I'll answer it, well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you see, again, I'm coming back to where we can see most of the people gather in a township, right? And one of the places that they do are in the events like Franklin Day or in churches or temples and so forth. I think somehow we need to engage the houses of worship. If we can engage them, probably 50% of the population that perhaps they do
Yes.
not even have the access to internet, whatever, we can cover it. The other issue that I see, which is a very common issue, that there are some houses that not one family lives. There's address of one family, but there are 2-3 families live in that house. And that is one of the challenges that we need to find out, especially in apartments and other houses, that
Yeah,
those that they are
I know.
not getting
Right.
the
Count it.
information.
Alex, they're not gonna surface.
No,
They're
no,
not-
it-
they're
you-
not gonna surface
I
in this
understand,
plan.
but I think
But
it's
the count
important.
The count can surface,
We
if
understand
not
about
the
the
people.
count.
No,
but
I
the
think
people
what
are
we-
not gonna do that.
No,
It's
my point is that we need to inform whoever is living there with his address.
They gotta
that
have faith
this-
in us.
This
They gotta
is,
trust
not
us.
us, in the system, that
That's
this
what I'm
is
saying.
Yeah,
not
and
That's
then,
what I'm
gonna
talking
do.
about.
right, and that's
I'm talking
difficult.
about
A lot of
the
people are afraid
Right.
that if they give that information to the Census Bureau, that the Census Bureau is gonna
Right.
turn them in.
Did
To
the
the
ICE will
township,
come
and
in
they
to
don't.
report back to country?
But-
Exactly.
But you have to get across
That's the
to
biggest
That's what we
obstacle,
need.
we know
That's
that,
a
you know.
huge obstacle.
I know in the senior communities now, I got a call because we're gated,
Yes.
and these people came and they didn't have the proper ID, so they were turned away, and then we got a call from the census to say, you have to have these people come in,
Well, they should be
but they need the
properly
proper
ID.
ID.
Yeah, they should have had some proper identification.
I just wanted to point out, 10 years ago, this group also was involved, and I think we put together an ad.
We
A
did,
commercial.
And it was shown on
We had
Channel
a commercial
27.
on
Sure did.
TV.
we did.
And,
Yeah,
yeah,
we did.
so maybe that's something that we can
Yeah.
do too, to explain the changes that is.
Yeah.
I think it's probably too late, and I'm sorry the principal's left, but if we could have gotten the boosters to come to Saturdays and just walk around telling, because I have a sense that table at the municipal, she and I, for the census, is gonna be empty, because people don't know it's there,
Right.
and how will you gather people in, and too late now, I think.
No, it's never too late.
We can
Well,
see
what
what
if
I can
someone's
do.
just to walk around
To walk
to
around.
all the different booths
But a bunch
and
of the
stuff.
girls and boys who, you have boosters that, what, how do you?
Julian can do it.
Yeah, we all can do it.
I can walk.
I'll be doing voter registrations anyway and census.
So would you
Put
wanna
him on the
use?
microphone, he was on the microphone last
Right.
time.
Yeah, frankly, yeah,
You
I
wanna
could do
mic-
that on the stage,
You on the microphone, yeah.
That might be a good
Yeah,
thing. Are you gonna be
who
there
on it
also?
this year?
So
you
the
got-
staging? Yeah, I think Safi is running it, along with.
Not you guys?
Yeah.
So you gotta
Oh,
give-
yeah, you got,
Yeah,
you
you
guys,
You gotta
okay.
give us a.
You did a good job last year. I'll say that.
Yeah,
I
well,
good
I know.
Yeah.
Do you need us to come up with the
I
plan
gotta,
of
I
action?
gotta, what do you call it,
Well, she's supposed to come up with the.
Yeah.
But we're the
We have-
committee,
I'll
be
be
working,
okay.
But
are we
say,
coming up with the plan
if
of
there's
action? I'm not
a
clear
few people
on process.
living in the
Yeah.
house,
There is
it's
no
gonna be very
plan of
hard to.
action.
Yeah, that's.
Well-
That's what she's
I know, but
asking.
that's what-
Ideas, and then we're gonna put together
Very
what
hard.
we'll all be putting together.
So,
That's what I hope we will.
on the computer.
So that's what I'm saying, whose charge is that?
I gotta do-
Creating
I
the
have to
plan of
do more
action, is that the
research.
committee's charge?
I was away this weekend. I went from the meeting, I was supposed to be off on Thursday and ended up going to this meeting instead. And I just got back today.
No, no,
so-
I understand, but, so we need to come up with some,
Yeah.
some
If you want-
suggestion.
if you want,
I will
let's
have,
get together
for October,
and do
I will
something,
definitely
or,
have
you know,
more of an
online.
outline and an action
Okay.
plan.
Or we could do some of that right now.
Talk with Marilyn and,
Yep,
you work
we'll
with
meet
her.
again, but we'll meet before.
And we're here to help, you know,
Okay.
anything.
Well, that is what and I thought that one of the things we would do would be feed some ideas, additional ideas to Anne Marie, cause it's very, I mean, again, we work at the behest of the council and Anne Marie's office, and we may come up with a great idea, and if it doesn't work for her, but I think that we have to be, very consistent in how we're going to make this happen.
Oh, yeah.
So that there's training and there's outreach and, you know, it goes into various different,
And going onto the website, I mean, that website it's
the website.
it's got a lot of information. Don't
Okay.
print it out, just read.
I'm just gonna, I'm just
Read,
passing
don't-
this out, this is
Do
just,
not print out.
don't print it all out, but these are all of just some of the things, I figured I would just
I get,
pass
all
it
different
around.
I get emails.
These
every
are
Oh,
day.
all
I get
different
emails
things
every
on
day.
that
I get
website.
emails every day, and I thought
So
it was.
it's
I
on
know.
the website.
Just to give you
When
an
it comes
idea
time to
of what it
How much
is.
information is gonna be on the website?
You are drowned in paper.
Yeah,
You are
I have to
drowning in
work
paper.
on something to put on,
And the
on
top
the
tells you
township
what it is,
website that'll link
uninsured, rate
over
for
to
children.
that,
Yeah.
to that, and I'm working on that.
How about
Yeah, we'll have stuff,
channel,
our TV
Oh,
channel,
I gotta say-
website, Facebook,
are you two
Instagram,
working together at
everything.
all?
We haven't
Today's our
started
first
yet, yeah, it's our
day.
first day.
Okay,
Well,
So I will
like
be
this
we
year,
will try to partner with.
well, we're here, you know.
but like this year,
You have
you have too much information, it's just like.
I know, too much, yeah, I
You
mean,
ain't
that
lying.
website is
Website is a lot of
Short
there's
and
a,
sweet.
there's
It is a
boatloads.
lot of information.
Well, let's,
It
It's
gives you,
beyond.
you know, information on if you, what taglines you wanna use, cause they're very specific to make
Yeah.
sure everything is consistent. So it'll give you the taglines, it gives you all kinds of demographic information, and it's across the map. So it's holding everything for the United States, and you just click on your state, and it'll give you the
Are you
information that you.
working for the Census Bureau?
No, sir.
Did you just volunteer?
I'm
Volunteer like us?
yes, I'm
Okay.
volunteering through
While-
my sorority.
While you said that, for working, should anybody in this group choose to, or pass along the information,
Right.
work for the Census Bureau, one of the things as this AARP article pointed out, which I was not aware of, is that their Fraud Watch Network has seen scam artists send out phony offers for census employment,
Wow.
hoping to steal social security numbers or other
Oh,
forms of
my.
identification.
And
So,
that's-
Oh,
you're
my.
forewarned,
As
and
soon
you
as people
pass it on
see
to
that,
other people, but
they
it
say,
is,
"I'm not
yeah,
an application can be completed online at the
As soon as
Census
people see
Bureau
that, they
website.
Yeah.
So they have to
you know what
go,
that is?
they are not being approached, you have to go to the Census Bureau
Well, I
website,
played the
as
scam,
an
I'm gonna be
example.
everywhere, man. You can't get nothing done nowadays.
I
Legally.
was, I actually
Just more
wasn't,
ways to do
um,
it.
Anything else?
in the
Well,
office
let us
this
know.
morning, so.
But we at
What
therapy
are our
has,
next steps?
you know.
So if you guys have any like flyers, I can go to every booth and I can hand them out,
Invite them
to give out to
yeah.
people.
Yeah. They're gonna bring stuff with them
Okay.
on Saturday, and then, I can always, ask them for more. They haven't
In the
sent,
high school, you could give it to every,
Yeah.
every high school
yeah,
has a physical class.
the,
It has an official
the
class.
county superintendent is working with all the schools in the county and doing an outreach
Oh,
that
so
way.
they doing that, okay.
Yeah, they're doing
okay.
that.
Because if you give it to every class, the teacher.
The teacher would
You
talk,
have my
teacher would
email?
talk and talk.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't.
you give it to teachers, yep.
Yeah, I
Nope,
don't
no
know.
problem.
Well, the 6208 is the
Oh,
general one in
oh,
the
okay.
office, but
We're
that's
waiting for
like,
Anne Marie.
to get me
Okay.
directly.
So this is
Alex.
what I can put in.
When is your
I
next
said
thing?
We're waiting for, you know,
December,
a master
December.
plan
That's
Go
the
ahead.
same
from
thing.
Anne Marie. But I'm gonna make sure that your suggestion be encompassed in that master plan, in a plan of action that we do.
So I will invite
You know,
Anne Marie to our interface
Okay.
council
to
meeting,
make sure
which is
that,
on
'cause I
December
think the
10th.
churches is one
December 10th,
good way
5 o'clock
of
at Food
What
of
day
Bank.
is
getting
that?
most of the people that
December
I'm
10th.
concerned about.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm always tied up.
Especially when the masses just have the priest go and like, or
December
whatever,
10th.
faith leaders just
Yeah.
talk about it and say, you know, and
At
they'll
the
listen.
food bank.
Do some of your sorority go to First Baptist?
A lot of them go.
I thought they did, that's what I seen, what's going in them, all right, I got them.
Yeah,
Big
December
building,
10th.
all of them,
It's,
I know.
5 o'clock.
Okay,
But I will send you a
Okay.
note so you can put on your
Very well.
calendar.
Keep us posted and
okay.
we're here to help.
Yes, we here to
Yeah,
help.
and
Now, you
this is
did the
the beginning of
commercial
that.
last time.
No.
It's the beginning.
Do
Just the
you
beginning.
wanna start
And Marie,
organizing and
the
having?
election's coming
You think
out.
that's a good idea
Yes.
to have?
Polling stations have been changed.
Yeah, I sent it to you today.
Oh, you did?
I did, yeah.
Polling places been
Okay.
changed.
Well,
Some.
District 9 is been moved to Consolata because they kicked us out.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
we need to inform
I'm
people.
District 18.
But yeah, the postcards will go out. We usually don't send them until the end of
Okay,
October because otherwise people forget.
forget.
Yeah.
Yeah, when is the thing coming up?
What?
The,
Sample ballot?
yeah,
That usually goes out about a week and a half
Yeah.
before the election.
Okay.
no kidding, all right, all
I'll
right.
get that soon.
That'll be coming out
Okay.
soon.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for allowing me to join the meeting today.
Yeah.
Oh, pleasure.
Great, Mr. Parker, glad to
Look
see
forward
you.
to
again.
We
working
need
with
any of your printed
Thank you.
material.
Katrina, you're not gonna hold me, right?
Will do.
You have my.
I mean, that's one example, we can't make the printed materials, they have to.
You guys are my easy area. It's like down by Ted Chase that I have.
Yeah, but that's a great idea though.
But it-
I'm worried about all, you know, but I know all
All
the
right, thank you
churches,
so
man,
very
you know,
much.
you get most of the
Have a
people,
good night, everyone.
you know, my neighborhood
Well, good
anyway.
night.
Thank you all.
They say you got 70 churches, I know I
Okay,
got
let's
20 in my own
continue.
neighborhood.
Pretty sad how badly.
You know, I think I got about 20.
I'm
Yeah.
putting it
I still think we
online,
need
so-
to drill down to see what
What a
that
mistake that
represents,
is.
what do those colors
Okay.
represent?
Um,
What are we talking about?
do you have any more?
It can't just be Spanish speaking people, it must
Well,
be more
Frank,
encompassing
Franklin
than
about
that.
that.
If you look at the Franklin area,
It's everybody.
Franklin is, no, but it is broken down in Franklin, and Franklin, the southern part, like Kingston, had the good color, what was it, yellow? And it just,
And there's a blue part. also.
yeah,
Yeah,
What was the blue part at?
yeah.
Four?
I guess I have to drill down, I have to look for
Okay.
that map
Okay.
online.
I
we
wanna
didn't
see
have
that
a,
thing.
we didn't have a police report because they weren't here tonight.
That's true.
You wanna talk some more about vaping, or you wanna meet with them first?
No, I mean, I know I mentioned it at the last meeting, but, what I thought made sense was if we considered, joining forces with other groups in town, you know, the council, municipal alliance, the Human Relations Commission, because the issue of, you know, the health of our children obviously affects everyone,
Yes.
and we all care about that. The opioid task force that I'm a member of happens to be the St. Peter's opioid task force, and among the, presentations that we give out in the community, are, both just on information, general information about resources available to anyone who is struggling with addiction, information about what is addiction, resources, both inpatient and otherwise, and also we are going to have at the hospital a vaping info session, but we can go out into the community and do it. So I would foresee either two pieces of one for parents and children to be attended together, perhaps one at the middle school, one at the high school. And then something for, the general public as well as, you know, staff, school staff. Because I know the meeting, I forget how long ago, but this was about 3 or 4 months ago, I had attended a meeting where, the school superintendent, said that this was an issue in Franklin Township, as it is all over the country right now. Sure. And I think we need to get educated about this issue so we can try to get on top, in front of it as much as
Is there any
possible at this point.
presentation or something, you know, that perhaps you can share with us?
No, but the medical professionals do the presentation, so, you know, I wouldn't do the presentation, I'm merely the messenger to try to bring all the resources together, but, I think we should rally around bringing this message about what's going on to our parents and our children and the general public. I mean, it's, if you read statistics around the country, this vaping is an issue that's affecting people of all ages,
Right.
not just teens, you know.
Okay.
So
It's a major problem.
How
in our
many of
neighborhood.
you know anybody else that may be doing that, using vaping?
I know
you
bunch
see
of
it
them.
everywhere.
I know bunch.
In our
Two,
school,
today's paper, three just died, today's paper,
Oh,
three.
you know, you seen them.
All my kids, all my
see the
gang,
school?
my young kids,
Yeah.
that's what they was doing, and I didn't realize what they was doing.
Do see it.
Yeah, I just saw one myself and I was surprised.
Yeah, and they
There
been
was a
doing
young
it.
boy,
Yeah.
13-year-olds.
That young, they doing it too, yeah, they doing
And
it.
I know
was
the school
shocked.
superintendent said,
Behind that whole Juul thing, you know,
The guys
cigarettes,
didn't
non-smoking
even pay
cigarettes,
attention
and
to
they
us
get
if
the-
they're on them. He
the
was just
Juul.
doing it.
No, because
Juul,
they
Juul,
teach
Juul,
that.
yeah,
Oh, that's-
Juul, that's the
Right.
whole
They
thing,
teach
right?
that indoors because it's not smoking a cigarette.
Right.
So,
That's
because I
part of
saw
it.
the manager over at the new place that opened up on Cedar Grove, he asked this girl 3 times not to do it.
Wow.
And she put her head down and make like, you know, cause I guess she had inhaled and she wanted to blow out the smoke. So she didn't want anybody to see, so she put her head down. So I'm sitting there watching her, I'm like, wow, they already asked her 3 times.
Yeah, they don't even, they got the Juul, and none,
I don't even know what it is.
you know,
Well,
I didn't know,
some of them
I didn't know they
have-
could put that much stuff
Some
in
of
it.
it doesn't.
I didn't know
Some
what they
of
was
it is
doing, you know, I thought it was
bootleg
for the
marijuana.
weed. I thought they didn't have no weed, they had all kinds of stuff in there.
So,
Well,
I mean,
somebody's
I,
making
so
a-
Some of them
I
is
guess I just,
CBD.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's a
would
big
need to
thing, the
know if the
Juul just shut
commission
down
is-
one place.
would wanna be one of the sponsors of a
Well,
programs like this.
Why don't you talk to the principals and
Yeah, so
Invitation.
how would you
So
like?
would the community learn something from it too?
Yeah.
yeah.
Question,
But I
you
think,
wanna
I
go
think
to
it
the
should
library?
be, I think
I
Alice
think it would make
Simmons is
sense to
doing
be
a
an
program
initiative of
now.
all
Oh,
of
she
those
is?
that are-
Yeah, that's what I
that are
think Alice is doing something right now.
Allison,
opiate.
I am attending, the meeting this week for
Is
the
this meeting?
Municipal Alliance,
Oh,
and
oh,
I'm
Alice?
presenting the program
Okay,
to
all right.
there.
Yeah, cause she's doing something with the opioids and the vaping and so forth, she
So
called
come
me.
back to us after
Oh,
you have
about it.
information, and we'll see. Okay,
Yeah, it's getting a problem now, my boys,
a
they might
couple
block
other
this out.
things. This, Saturday is the annual Franklin Day Festival. I'll be helping with the parking.
Julian.
Alex is in charge of it,
Uh-huh.
so, I'll be working for Alex. But,
So-
if you wanna come and you walk around with the stuff with the
Yeah.
census, that would be great. So I don't know
Oh, you
if
volunteer? Good.
if they need any more help, but you can speak to them when they come in, but that's this Saturday.
So what time do you
The
need to
census
be
tent,
there?
by the way,
Yeah.
will be part of the municipal tent.
Okay, so
So
it'll be
that's where
there.
you send people,
Okay.
you know, just to encourage them
Yeah.
to get involved and.
I'll be parking in the morning, but
Yeah.
then I'll help after.
So what time do we need to be there for the parking?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock?
No.
Well,
I think
no,
earlier.
it depends. We
It
have,
starts
like,
at 12, but they're gonna start
yeah,
setting up.
but
What's
it
it, 12 to
depends
5?
on whether or not there are 2 kinds
I
of
gotta be there
parking. Like, he needs to be there
at
at
7:15.
7:15, I have to be there at 7:15.
I've been there since.
Because
In the
we are
morning?
great, yes, sir.
The vendors be
Because
coming
we
in.
are, because we
Yeah, the
are in
vendors will
charge
come
of directing the
Because
vendors.
people,
Right.
people
So
come
we have a
in.
crew of like 12, 13
Yeah.
volunteers that we have to come together at about 7:15.
So do
Yes.
you want
People
Ian?
come in loaded and they have to get them
You
unloaded.
wanna be-
and-
Yeah.
Because me and Nina went over there last year to help
Like we
with
did
the
last
vendors.
year.
and
Right.
get
You
that.
were.
Like we did last
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, I know.
Are you in
I know.
contact with Bob?
Ask him if he needs help.
Bob Fletcher or whatever?
But I
Fletcher.
can't,
Bob
Well, you
Fletcher.
can't do
Yeah.
no, I'm doing
Yeah, I
doing
work-
doing
I
photo
know, I saw
registration.
your name on
Oh,
our
oh,
list, so you don't need to.
Yeah, all
miss
day.
50.
Okay.
At the,
But I remember
Yeah.
being in
Oh,
our
oh,
helping
good.
the
Yeah,
vendors, like with parking lots.
okay, the other thing is,
Helping them, we were standing on either side of the entrance.
And I'll be doing photo registration, I'll also be doing some of the census
You
stuff.
are doing the same thing?
Um,
No, I don't think so.
Get enough
Gary,
clipboards,
he's on
you
me
can leave,
too.
clipboard,
No, no, it's not
you
Gary.
okay, if there's
can
anything
bring
else,
to the people
No,
page.
Gary.
Wait, ladies and
Somebody
gents,
else decided.
Okay.
I wanna just go back to the census question.
okay.
All right, so the next steps are you guys actually,
Right.
at the, I just found out they were, today, that they were going to have a tent.
Okay.
A part of, a table at the municipal, and Anne Marie was one who's now gonna be sitting with them. And I think that if we do the commercial, we should start that soon. Can I put you in charge of the commercial, that you did it last time?
Or how
I-
can we do a commercial?
She said, I think
Yeah,
they
we-
said
we
yes,
did
Last
it.
time
right?
it was Milo who
Yeah,
filmed
Milo
it, so
took
who would
care of
film
that.
it this time?
Oh, well,
Yeah, he
what
had a
about the
show.
professional?
He had a
Yeah.
television
That-
show.
Oh, that's how.
And so.
What
that's
about
how-
our, I guess that's different.
Now,
Yeah,
isn't there a
Ask the
television
mayor.
studio
I'm
at
sure-
the school?
Yeah, on TV.
maybe,
There's a
maybe
television
we can
studio
have
at the
it done
school.
through
You wanna
the,
do?
Yes, the
Right.
channel 33, I'm sure that they would allow you on the,
oh, no, we were on channel 27.
Yeah.
That's where they,
Now,
that's
the
where
issue
they
is-
put us
That's
on,
where
but
they
they
put us
didn't
on.
produce it.
what,
Yeah.
27 and 33?
Milo produced it, remember we had it in our house?
Your house, I remember.
Yeah.
But so the issue is the creation, like, we
Yeah.
would need those resources, so
Yeah.
it is the school, television studio
we-
possibility.
Well, now
we
we
have-
call up the Solomons.
I,
See what they can
we
do.
will find out tomorrow. I'll find out tomorrow and I'll email.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Well, since Anne Marie
Thank
is,
you.
since Anne Marie is the township
Vendors,
clerk,
you come and sit with the-
Right.
wouldn't she be the one to put the stuff on the
Well, that's different than having the actual camera and a camera person. What we're looking for is a camera and
They
a camera.
got it, they can do it, they film every meeting, they film in this now,
Can
right?
you email me your name
Yeah,
so
they're filming
because
this
it's in-
Yeah,
Well,
but
I'm
it's done,
That's your roster.
Anything else,
Because you gotta get a
otherwise I'm
shirt.
gonna,
Everybody,
yeah,
you know,
have it done.
Last year, yeah.
Well, this is already set up. There's
Okay,
nothing to be done.
I make a
Gary
motion that
turned
the
it-
meeting
Send it
is
to me.
adjourned.
Just send it
Okay,
to me.
hi.
it's adjourned.
Because he's the
Okay.
one.
Oh, come on,
The
John.
next meeting is October 28th.
28.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, good
There's a
job.
plaque,
Turn
right?
that off.
An academic
Yes.
plaque, yeah.